Because this is what we do. We decide that we want to do something. And then we start making excuses about why we don't do the things we need to do to achieve what we decide we want to do. So all the time we throw in little excuses in the way. Oh yeah, I'd like to do it, but the Super Bowl's on. Oh, I'd like to do it, but there's a good match on tonight. Oh, I'd like to do it, but this is happening, and so I've got to put it off and do that. Well, you know, I'd like to tell these people around me that they're not going to suppress my life anymore, and I'm going to express my full uniqueness. But what I thought is, you know, there's something coming up. I don't want to upset people, so I'll put it off. I'll do it next week. All the time we can do this. Now, we either want to be free or we don't want to be free. We're going to go for it or we're not going to go for it. Of course, there's diplomatic ways of doing it, but so often I see, and I do understand it, wanting to avoid what is necessary to achieve what people claim they want, and the excuse list just goes on and on and on and on and on. And instead of you're to blame, it's like, how can I find a situation to explain away why I'm not doing what I say I want to do? Clear your mind. This is a good one. I've done a lot of this over the years from what I used to be. You know, I have this thing which I call the deathbed experience, or the deathbed reality, even a way of putting it. You're lying on your deathbed, you've got 10 minutes to live, and you're looking back at your life. How much of what wound you up, made you unhappy, made you stressed, made your life unpleasant, you got angry about, how much of it in that deathbed experience, 10 minutes to go, actually matters? Sodding next to nothing, if that. Nothing. And it's another way that we get trapped in this out there holographic reality, which is getting attached to things that don't matter. You heard what he said about me? Oh, I'm disgusted. I'm so upset. Don't give a shit, mate. Don't give a shit. It doesn't matter. What's it matter? You know why it matters? Because you've made it matter. I think that David Icke's mad, crazy, an idiot. Thank you for sharing that with me. End of frickin' story. Write your opinion. I have a right not to be affected by it. Doesn't matter. Thinks I'm crazy? Good luck to him. Brilliant. I don't think I'm crazy. I'm not affected by that. And I don't get stressed. Oh, how can you say that to me? I'm now getting stressed. I'm getting into a low vibrational state. Why? For something that doesn't matter. If I'm lying on my deathbed, I look at all these people that have heard this abuse at me, and all these situations, I go, yeah, it was funny. What a laugh. What a laugh, really. Right? And yet at the time, you can get really caught in it. And if we clear our minds of what matters, because, again, what it is, it's moving our point of observation from this reality to the out-of-body reality, because when we're out of body, none of this crap matters. You talk to out-of-body experiences. Hey, Jill Bolte Taylor, when she's having the stroke and went in the right brain as the prime reality. Hey, this is La La Land, it's lovely. Oh, it doesn't matter, all that stress is all gone. I haven't got that anymore. And the trick is moving that perception of the out-of-body higher consciousness, there is no time, no sequence, all that stuff, moving that into this reality, not 10 minutes before we move out of here, but when we're in it and living it and experiencing it, because that will completely change as we move that point of observation, the way we live our life, what we can achieve, and the way we interact with reality. So much that we think matters doesn't friggin' matter. It doesn't matter. Okay, I'm in another dimension now. What was all that went on? I can't remember, mate. How are you doing? All right, I haven't seen you since you were, in Egypt. And what's it? So how are you doing now? Doesn't matter. It's just an experience. And this is the sequence that I found people seem to go to, and I went through. The first stage of the opening to freedom, in its true sense, is to realize we are in a situation of slavery. Because again, making excuses, hiding from what you don't want to face. You know, it's like the greatest power over people is when you tell them something they want to hear. So if you tell them that something's happening that they don't really want to think is happening, and then someone comes along and says, "Oh, load of rubbish, mate, load of rubbish." No, it's fine, honestly. You want to believe this guy because you want to believe it's fine. And so we are in denial of the situation we're in. Not people in this room, obviously, but in general, humanity is in denial because they really don't want to face it. So much better to hide it, hide away from it. "Oh, no, it's a load of rubbish. The guy's mad, mate," and all that stuff. But there comes a time, if we ignore it, when it comes in our face, and then we've got to face it. And people come to that conclusion at different points. But first of all, we face the situation we're in. Okay, now we can deal with it. It's like when you're in a situation where you can see the dictator. It's not a very nice situation, but at least you're one step ahead of being in a society that's controlled by dictators you cannot see, touch, and taste, because at least you know there's something to deal with. Stage one. Stage two, choosing not to be a slave, choosing freedom, real freedom, not the illusion of freedom that we call freedom. Most people on this planet don't want bloody freedom. I meet people in the Christian movement in America. They talk about freedom, and some of them talk about this conspiracy on a 5-sense level and stuff. They don't want bloody freedom. You know, I met one once in Tucson. I was talking to him about how what happened to the Native Americans and all that stuff, and we're going on, and this guy is such a white supremacist, it's unbelievable. And I said to him, "Do you know," and you know, we were talking at an anti-Illuminati bloody rally, right? And I said to him, "Little mate, I don't know who terrifies me more at the thought of being in power, the people I'm trying to expose, or you who's trying to expose them as well. They don't want freedom. They want the freedom. They want the freedom to replace an imposition they don't like with an imposition that they do like, their own belief system." Crikey, I've been, harangued by Christian people in America so often because I'm talking about Jesus and stuff and the Son God. Well, okay, don't accept it then. You believe that, I'll believe this. We'll have a beer, forget about it. No, must impose myself. You're not interested in freedom. So when we choose freedom, it's real freedom. And freedom, funnily enough, is not the freedom for us to do what we like at the expense of other people. It's the freedom of everyone to have the same rights as us. Freedom is not freedom for us to take the freedom to impose on others. It's accepting the freedom of others the same as we expect the freedom for ourselves. So, when we talk about banning freedom of speech, no one is against freedom of speech. It's like being against, wife violence. No one's for that. And no one's for the end of free speech. But then they start dealing with what free speech is. "Oh, no, you can't have free speech to say that. I believe in free speech, but that's going too far." No, you can't be a little bit pregnant, mate. Free speech is free speech, okay? You can't edit it, right? And when it comes to freedom of speech, people should have the right to say what they want and all the rest of it. And anyway, don't we want to know what people think about things rather than all going on in the shadows and no one knowing what's really going on? Of course, freedom of speech is freedom of speech. It's freedom, funnily enough, for people to say things we don't like and to stand for their freedom to say things we don't like as much as to stand for freedom to say what we do like. Freedom is freedom. It's indivisible. So, I choose freedom. I'm not going to be a little bit free, I'm going to be free. And I have a simple philosophy. People say, "Oh, freedom, that means you do what you like." I have a simple philosophy. Do what you like, so long as you don't impose it on other people. Real simple. And people say, "Well, no, that would be chaos, that would be anarchy." No, it wouldn't. Be opposite of that. Well, what about people who murder people? Well, I think that's imposing your will on somebody. Do you think that might be that?